Hello guys, and today I will show you my list for the top 5 easiest tanks that I think will be helpful in your grind for the Onslaught mode. This list is especially for you guys who are under the rank of champion. Even if you are higher, this list should be helpful to you as well. For each position I will have a different tank and alternative that you can play instead, because I know not everyone has those tanks. For the best tank right now in Onslaught that you can grind your rank out, I have the Type 5 Heavy. After the recent buff, it is extremely strong. The armor buff means that not everyone can pen it, and even on the higher levels it definitely can still bounce some shells. In Onslaught also you have over 4000 HP in the Type 5, which is just great for taking damage. You do 700 damage a shot with extremely powerful HE rounds that deal 1100 damage while having 130mm of penetration, which is just great if you are fighting against medium tanks, light tanks, or even lightly armored tank destroyers. But this tank is on the top of my list because it is extremely easy to play. You aren't that fast, so you just go forward, shoot, take damage, and just win the game. There isn't that much you need to do with this tank. You can't really angle, you can't really go too fast and die. You just go, shoot, and win. If you don't have the Type 5, I definitely recommend E100 because it is also pretty similar to the Type 5. It is still pretty strong. You can play it on both guns because one gun has higher alpha and higher penetration, but the second gun has better gun handling and better DPM. For the equipment on both of these tanks, I definitely recommend hardening, rammer, and turbocharger. If you have experimental, you can definitely try out the experimental one. For the second best tank that I think you can play in Onslaught, I have the Object 140. Again, after the recent buff, 140 is probably the best medium tank in the game right now, especially in randoms, but in Onslaught it is still a great tank. The best thing about this tank in Onslaught is its ability, because even though it isn't that powerful to yourself only, it is extremely powerful to grinding points. Even if you lose, even if you don't do that much damage, you still won't lose as many points just because of this perk. The 140 itself can do everything. The only thing that you need to worry about is surviving and helping your team just by spamming the perk. There is nothing too hard about using this one. You just need to play like a medium tank, help your team, trade HP, and use the perk when you have it practically non-stop. You can try think about it, but if you are a beginner or not that advanced, you can just spam the perk and you should be good to go. The only thing that you need to watch out for is to not take too many tanks with inspiration on the same team, because there isn't just any benefit to that. The optimum is having one inspiration in your team, but if you have two, it's all okay. Having more than two is just wasting your abilities. For the modules, I recommend rammer, hardening, and again turbocharger. If you really like, then you may take ventilation for the turbocharger, especially on smaller maps, but again turbocharger is just the way to go. If you don't have the Object 140, then Centurion Action X, 121, 121B, UDES and Patton are still pretty alright. All of them have the same perk, all of them are extremely powerful while gaining points. The only thing that you need to do is not die, spam the perk, and also not snipe, because if you are not trading your HP, you are kinda throwing the game. The third best tank that I think that you can play in Onslaught is E50M. If you don't really follow the Onslaught meta, you may be surprised, because E50M isn't that great in random battles. But there is one key difference in Onslaught, which is the special abilities. E50M has probably the best ability in the game because it is reduced reload time. While you have the perk active on the highest level, you have 45% faster reload time, which means you have 181% better DPM. This means that you can have over 6000 damage per minute if you also have some other things added on the top of that. E50M also got buffed in the recent patch. It goes a bit quicker, it has better DPM, and also it has a bit better armor. The biggest struggle in the random battles was the DPM, and in Onslaught E50M has one of the best DPMs, which means this tank is one of the best ones in Onslaught. It isn't that easy to play, but it also isn't that hard. You just shoot the enemy and try to live as long while also not camping. Another great thing about this tank is the HP pool. It has the most HP out of all of the medium tanks, which is of course great in the Onslaught because you want to survive as long as possible and also take as much damage as possible. Everything else about this tank is just great. You are fast, you have great gun even without the perk, because the perk also boosts your gun handling, you have some armor, and you can even ram your enemies. If you don't have the E50M, you can also play Object for 130 U because it has the same perk that E50M has, although Object is a bit worse because you have worse gun handling, you are a bit slower, but it is also a great tank. For the modules, again, what you take is Rammer, more HP, so hardening, and turbocharger. The fourth best tank that I think that you can play in Onslaught is definitely E4, which is tier 10 American tank destroyer with a turret. This tank just has insane amount of penetration, which means this tank is pretty easy to play. You deal just 750 damage every time you pick a corner. There isn't anything that hard about this tank. You don't even have to aim that much, just because you have insane amount of penetration. Another great thing about E4 is the ability, because you just take less damage, and if you take a bad position you can go back faster because it also enhances your speed. The only thing that you need to watch out for is while you are using your ability, your tracks have 1 HP, so it means that anything will take them out. If Tessac shoots, even if Tessac will shoot 1 bullet into them, they will go down. So that is what you need to look out for. Other than that, E4 is pretty easy to play just because of the penetration and damage of this tank. There aren't many alternatives to this tank. I guess you could try Jagdpanzer 100, but it doesn't have the same DPM as E4 does. T110 E3 is a bad pick in this mode just because you don't have the turret, and while you are having this perk active, your tracks go down, so E3 makes it really easy to get permatracked. That is why I cannot recommend that. For the modules on E4, I still recommend Rammer, turbocharger, this time experimental will be the better one, and also more HP, so hardening. This is the best setup that you can have in Onslaught, and if you don't know what to take, you should take those 3 modules. And for the last tank that I recommend, I have the BZ-75. This tank is just great for anything. You have the rocket boosters, which are plenty enough in this mode because you are fighting closer. You have great amount of HP, and you also do 650 damage a shot, which is a nice amount. The ability itself isn't bad, isn't great, it's alright. You can heal yourself, you can heal your team, which is nice. It comes in handy sometimes, but overall the BZ should be pretty easy to play because you just go in, take damage, shoot back, try to help your team, don't go in alone, go with your team, take some damage, do some damage, and that is everything that you do in this tank. If you don't have this one, you can also play IS-7. If you feel a bit less experienced in BZ, you can also take IS-7. Both are great picks. Easy to play tanks. You just go in, take damage for your team, dish out back some damage, and you should be good to go. But overall, if you are in the lower ranks, I would recommend more of the first tanks because you just deal much more damage. For the modules in the BZ and IS-7, again, rammer, turbocharger and hardening, just because you want to be as fast as possible, have as much HP as possible and have the best DPM as possible. So this is my top 5 of the best tanks that you can play in Onslaught, especially if you're less experienced. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I will gladly answer them. Thank you for watching and hear you next time.